Welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're looking into something pretty wild, actually.
Oh, really? What's that?
Well, Intel and AMD, right?
Uh-huh.
The big CPU makers.
Yeah.
Well, they're teaming up.
Wow. I
Um,
wouldn't have expected that. Those two are practically famous for their rivalry. That basically what competition in tech looks like.
It's like Coke and Pepsi suddenly deciding to make sparkling water together.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And it all has to do with the x86 architecture,
Right. The
which, quick reminder, powers like almost all the computers out there.
servers, laptops, probably even the phones we're using to record this.
Pretty much.
And x86 has been top dog for what, like 40 years?
More, even.
Yeah.
But it's running into some new challenges.
Like what?
Well, think about the AI boom. That stuff needs a crazy amount of processing power.
And those custom designed chips for specific jobs, right?
Exactly. Not to mention the 3D packaging thing, which is basically like stacking chips like Legos, but super high tech.
Things are changing fast, that's for sure. Getting complex, too.
And here's the kicker. Intel and AMD have worked together before.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, on things like PCI, that's Peripheral Component Interconnect,
Okay.
PCIe, or Peripheral Component Interconnect Express, if you want to get fancy.
Okay.
And even the USB standard, Universal Serial Bus.
Right, right.
But this feels different.
How so?
It's not just about playing nice. This new team-up is called and get ready for this, the x86 Ecosystem Advisory Group.
Okay.
And it's all about shaping the future of computing.
Yeah, the landscape is changing so quickly, it's not just some small problem they're trying to fix.
It's about making sure x86 can adapt and stay relevant with all this new tech coming up.
And they've got some big names involved too, right?
Oh yeah, the founding members of this group, it's like a who's who of tech. Google, Microsoft, Dell, HP, Lenovo,
Okay.
Oracle, Red Hat, the list goes on. These guys mean business.
Wow. Having those companies on board shows just how big a deal this really is.
No doubt.
Those companies all rely on x86, so they definitely want to see it succeed.
So what are they actually trying to do with this group? What's their goal?
Well, from what they've said, they want to make the x86 architecture more adaptable, make sure it stays on top for pretty much everything.
And compatibility is a big part of that, right? Imagine if software could just work flawlessly on any x86 platform.
Oh man, that would be a dream for developers. No more headaches trying to make their code work with all the different chipsets.
Exactly. Streamlined software development is a huge part of it.
It would free up devs to actually make cool new stuff instead of getting bogged down in compatibility issues.
So this isn't just about laptops and desktops either.
Yeah.
We're talking data centers, cloud computing, even those devices at the edge of the network, closer to where data is made.
Edge devices, right?
Yeah. And embedded systems too, like the tiny computers inside everyday stuff.
The potential impact of this is huge. Touches almost every part of tech.
It's massive. They're basically acknowledging that the future of computing is way bigger than just your typical devices. It's this whole interconnected web of systems, and x86 is at the heart of it.
Wow, okay, so this is big.
It is. And to give you an idea of how seriously they're taking this, Lisa Su, the CEO of AMD, said, and I quote, "We are excited to bring the industry together to provide direction on future architectural enhancements and extend the incredible success of x86 for decades to come."
Strong words.
And Pat Gelsinger, Intel CEO, added this. "We are on the cusp of one of the most significant shifts in the x86 architecture and ecosystem in decades." He went on to talk about how they need new levels of customization, compatibility, and scalability to meet what customers want, both now and in the future.
So what does all this actually mean for someone listening to this? How might this collaboration affect their life?
Great question. Well, for one, it could mean more choices and better compatibility in the tech they use.
You mean like in both hardware and software?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where you're not stuck with one brand or operating system. Everything just works smoothly together. That's what they're aiming for.
That would be amazing. No more brand loyalty wars, just a good, easy experience for everyone.
Right. And think about new tech, cutting-edge features. Could this speed things up?
Definitely. If making software is smoother across x86 platforms, we could see new stuff rolling out much faster.
No more waiting for updates to catch up. Just get the cool new tech right away.
Precisely.
And hey, let's not forget the cost factor. Everyone loves saving money, right?
Of course.
And usually when you have more innovation, you get better prices for consumers.
It's a classic economics principle, yeah.
So if this actually leads to genuine innovation and healthy competition within the x86 world, prices could get even better.
It's certainly possible.
So latest tech, Faster and cheaper. Sign me up.
Haha, right. But there are some potential downsides to consider too, challenges they might run into.
Of course, of course. Okay, let's get into those next. What are some of the roadblocks this group might hit?
I think one of the biggest hurdles is just how complex this whole thing is.
Right.
You've got all these huge tech companies, each with their own goals and priorities.
It's like herding cats, except the cats are like mega corporations worth billions.
Exactly. Getting them all on the same page, pulling in the same direction, it's going to be tough.
So how do they manage that? How do you make sure everyone benefits, not just the giants?
Well, transparency is key. They can't afford to look like they're playing favorites or making backroom deals.
Yeah, if smaller companies or developers feel left out, the whole thing could fall apart.
Exactly. No one wants to see a tech oligarchy. The goal is to make a diverse ecosystem where everyone can contribute.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
Right. So beyond the politics of it all, the announcement also mentioned a big focus on standardized interfaces across x86 products.
Oh, now that's something I'm really interested in. For developers, that could be huge.
It would make things so much easier.
Imagine software just working seamlessly on any hardware, no matter the specific chip inside.
That's the dream. And for consumers, it means you can upgrade your computer or get a new device and know your software will still work perfectly.
No more compatibility nightmares, no more searching online forums for hours trying to fix things.
Exactly. It's all about making a user-friendly ecosystem that just works.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And they've also got some interesting names involved, like Linus Torvalds,
Oh, wow. The creator of Linux?
the one and only, and Tim Sweeney, too.
From Epic Games, the Fortnite guys.
Yep. And I think that shows how broad this whole initiative is. It's not just hardware. They're bringing in major figures from both the open source world and the commercial software side.
That's really interesting. It shows that software is just as important as the hardware itself for the whole x86 ecosystem.
Sure. And let's not forget, this goes way beyond just computers and servers.
Right. They're looking at x86 in cloud computing, edge devices, even those tiny computers in everyday objects, the embedded systems.
The potential is mind-blowing. Think about the Internet of Things, all these devices connected and sharing data. If x86 becomes the standard for that, who knows what we could see?
It could be a whole new era of computing, one where collaboration and compatibility are at the center.
Exciting. But, not everyone's going to be happy about this. There will be skeptics.
Oh, definitely. Some people will see it as a power grab, a way to crush the competition.
It's understandable, right? Intel and AMD have been rivals forever. So some suspicion is natural.
Absolutely. It's a bold move, and there are risks. It's up to this advisory group to prove they're serious about an open and competitive system.
Actions speak louder than words, as they say.
Right. If this just becomes a way for the big guys to rule the market, it'll backfire.
For this to succeed, it needs to benefit everyone, not just Intel and AMD.
Transparency and fair play are key. If they can do that, if they can create a more innovative and inclusive x86 ecosystem, everyone wins. Better products for consumers, a unified platform for developers, and more innovation across the tech industry.
It's a big gamble with a potentially huge payoff. We'll definitely be following this closely.
For sure. It's too early to say for sure what will happen, but it's definitely got the potential to change the tech world in big ways.
Absolutely. Okay, before we get too lost in the hypotheticals, let's bring it back down to earth. How might this collaboration affect our listeners, in their daily lives?
That's a good question. Well, one possibility is that it could lead to a more standardized and interoperable computing experience. Imagine switching between devices and operating systems without any compatibility issues.
No, that would be a game changer. No more struggling with different file formats or software that doesn't work. Just a smooth, effortless flow across all your devices. What else?
Well, consider the potential impact on cloud computing, edge computing, and the Internet of Things. Having a unified x86 architecture could streamline the development and rollout of these technologies, leading to faster adoption and even more innovation.
It's like we're standing at the edge of a new technological revolution, and this collaboration could be the catalyst that pushes it forward. But, as we've already touched on, there are risks as well. What could potentially go wrong?
Well, managing the complexities of this kind of collaboration is a continuous challenge. Keeping all these different companies aligned, ensuring everyone's voice is heard, and avoiding the creation of an exclusive inner circle are all significant hurdles.
And we can't forget about the potential for antitrust concerns. Regulators will be watching closely to make sure this collaboration doesn't stifle competition or give an unfair advantage to those involved.
Absolutely. It's a delicate balancing act. If they can navigate these challenges and stay committed to transparency and fair play, the potential benefits are massive. But if they stumble, if they put their own interests ahead of the broader ecosystem, the whole initiative could backfire.
It's a high-stakes game with a lot riding on the outcome. And while we can speculate about the possible consequences, only time will tell what the true impact of this collaboration will be. But one thing is for certain. It's an incredibly interesting development that has the potential to shake things up in the tech world.
I agree. We're at a crossroads, and the decisions made by this advisory group could have a profound impact on the future of computing.
We'll be following this story closely as it develops. And in the meantime, we want to hear from you, our listeners. What are your thoughts on this collaboration? Are you excited about the possibilities, or are you wary of the motives?
Share your thoughts with us.
As we wrap up this look at the Intel-AMD team-up, I want to ask you, the listener, what really stood out to you? What got you thinking about what this could all mean?
For me, it's just how big this whole thing is. It's not just some small tweaks, you know? This could totally change how we think about computers, from the chips to the software and everything in between.
It's like they're trying to rebuild the foundation of the house while they're still living in it. Pretty bold.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, what does this mean for new tech, for innovation? Will we see more breakthroughs, or will it all become kind of samey?
Yeah, that's the big question. There's always that worry when huge companies join forces that it becomes harder for smaller ones to compete or for anyone to come up with truly new ideas.
It's like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But what if you want to do both? Can they pull that off?
It's a tough balance for sure. They need to make sure there's still competition, still room for different approaches. You know, encourage new stuff without losing that variety. That's not easy.
But the potential payoff is massive.
Hmm.
Imagine if everyone could use the power of x86. If developers could build amazing software that runs on anything. And if it was easier to create and launch new tech.
That would be incredible.
It's a future worth fighting for.
Yeah.
But it's not a sure thing, right?
Mm.
Whether this works out depends on the choices this group makes.
Definitely. They need to be open and honest, and they need to put the needs of the whole tech world ahead of their own.
It's a big moment for technology, and we're all watching closely. So, to you listening, how do you think this might affect your life in the next few years? Will you have a smoother, more consistent experience with your tech? Will you get access to cool new stuff faster?
These are things to think about. And as this story develops, stay curious, ask questions, and don't just take things at face value, because the future of computing is being decided right now, and we all have a role in making sure it benefits everyone.
And, hey, if you found this deep dive interesting, share it with someone. Tell your friends, family, whoever. We'll be back next week with a brand new deep dive. Until then, stay curious, stay informed.